If you've played Pokemon X and Y before, then I'm sure you know all about the Pokemon trainer AZ and his signature Pokemon, Floette. If you haven't played those games yet, then here's your spoiler warning now. To recap exactly who AZ is and what he is about, AZ is the former king of the Kalos region, responsible for creating the ultimate weapon, which plays an integral part in the story in X and Y. He is still alive after over 3,000 years from the war, with the game's main antagonist Lysander being one of AZ's descendants. The ultimate weapon was originally created to bring deceased Pokemon back to life by AZ, specifically his beloved Floette, which was unfortunately killed. The power from this machine was responsible for giving AZ immortality as well. However, that wasn't enough for AZ. He wanted to also use the machine to get revenge on those who were responsible for killing his beloved Floette, thus reversing the ultimate machine into a killing machine, which started the Great War in Kalos all those years ago. When AZ's Floette learned that her resurrection caused so many other lives to be lost in so much destruction, she left AZ as he was no longer the same trainer that she remembered and she loved. The weapon was then later hidden by AZ's brother and remained hidden until Lysander found it many years later. Later on, when AZ assists you in stopping Lysander's evil plan to get the machine, he is reunited with his beloved Floette that he spent years trying to find. I find the whole story behind Kalos to be so interesting and much deeper than you might think, but that's not exactly what we're focusing on here, as we're going to focus on just the Floette and AZ. This Floette is special and very different from any regular Floette you would see in X and Y or any other main series Pokemon game featuring Floette. Typically, Floette evolves from Bulbapedia, which then evolves into Florges, and there's also 5 different variations of Floette holding a different flower that you can typically find in the wild. There's the yellow flower, orange flower, blue flower, white flower, and the red flower, which is the most common. These colors carry on throughout the whole evolution line, with the shiny sprites carrying the same color flowers as well. AZ's Floette is very different from these 5 typical Floettes that we see, as it carries a unique flower known as the Eternal Flower and is called the Eternal Flower Floette. The Eternal Flower Floette is different as it cannot breed, does not evolve, and even has different stats than regular Floettes and a signature move that is unobtainable on any other Pokemon. If we were to compare the base stats between the 2 different Floettes, you'll notice that the Eternal Flower Floette, or AZ's Floette, has significantly higher stats. Regular Floette has a base stat total of only about 371, while the Eternal Flower has a base stat total of 551, which makes it seem like it would be a strong Pokemon even in competitive battling. The funny thing about the Eternal Form Floette, however, is even though AZ has one, it is completely unobtainable in any Pokemon game, despite existing in the game's code and having a lot of unique elements over regular Floette, even a different cry. AZ's Floette even appears in the game files for Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon as well, which means it could have been leftover data for those games from X and Y, or it could have originally been planned to be obtainable at some point. X and Y are notorious for having a lot of incomplete or just weird elements to it that would suggest that AZ's Floette was originally planned to be obtainable via some sort of event sometime in the game. I have a theory that this was definitely the case, along with other special events similar to the events in Heart Gold and Soul Silver for other Generation 6 Pokemon like Volcanion or Diancie. I don't really have much hard evidence to back this at all, but I think a lot of you guys can agree that there's definitely something that seems a bit off for X and Y, and there's some incomplete aspects to it, especially when it comes to these mythical Pokemon. I doubt that we will ever see an obtainable Eternal Flower Floette in the main series Pokemon games, unfortunately, but the only real possibility I can possibly see happening is in some sort of future X and Y remake game, which even if that does happen, it won't be for a very long time. It seems like X and Y are the ugly ducklings or the black sheep of the Pokemon series right now, which does happen for a lot of generations, as they aren't exactly old enough right now for people to feel too nostalgic about yet, but it isn't exactly a recent game either, and we've had 2 whole generations of Pokemon released since then. I still find the entire lore and history behind X and Y and Kalos, beyond just the story of AZ's Floette, to be some of the most interesting in the franchise, and something that I would love to see expanded upon in the future. But for now, when it comes to X and Y and AZ's Floette, all we're left with is a lot of questions and speculation that is left unanswered.